It's just after 6:30 a.m. on a Monday, and I figured that I would show you a kind of week in the life video. If you are not my Pookie, aka Taylor, hi, my name is Azaria. I am a creative writing PhD student in the Mid-Estate in the Midwest, Nebraska. I'm also a magical realism fiction writer. So today is Monday. I am in the car and I'm about to go get some coffee, and then I'm going to campus and I have to teach a morning class this morning. I have an 8:30 class that I need to teach. And then after that, I'm coming back home and I'm going to do virtual conferences with my students from my other class, which is my English composition class. After that, I'm going to go back on campus for a theory and criticism class that I have that's about 3 hours long. And then I'll be back home for the rest of the day to do some writing. All right, so now we're just gonna go ahead, head out, get coffee, and then I'll come back when I make it on campus. I'm currently in my class, the classroom where I teach my 8:30 class. I have about an hour before they get here. I was going over some work that they were supposed to turn in, and long story short, over half of them did not do what they were supposed to do. They didn't turn the work in, or they turned it into the wrong place. And I have so many emails, oh, I misread, oh, this, oh, that. If you're a teacher, you know that you could say something until you're blue in the face, and you'll still have students miss it, students not hear you. You can ask if anyone has any questions until you are purple in the face, and you'll still have students emailing you at the last minute, not understanding the assignment. Like, it's very annoying, especially when you're a teacher like me who's very thorough, and I make sure that I over explain things and I put things in at least 3 spots for my students to find. Many of them are getting zeros for the assignment that they forgot to turn in, because I have a general rule, which is that you can ask for an extension on almost any assignment, and it will get approved. All you have to do is ask for it before the assignment is due. You can't ask for the extension after it was already due. I don't need a reason. I don't care what the reason is. Because you don't feel like working on it right now, fine, that's a valid reason. Whatever the reason, as long as you make the request before the assignment is due, I'm going to grant it. With that being said, I don't accept late work unless you have an extension, because you could just ask me for one and I'll give it to you. This particular assignment, they could not turn in early because it has to be reviewed by other students in the class, or they could not turn in late, excuse me, because it has to be reviewed by other students in the class. And so several of them just didn't turn it in. I can foresee already having to fail 3 of these students because they don't come to class, and we have like an attendance policy in our department that I have no control over. So if they miss a certain amount of classes, then they fail automatically. But they also just don't turn in their work. When they miss class, they don't reach out to see what they missed. And in this particular class, there are only 10 graded assignments for the entire semester. So it's really frustrating. And last week with this class also, I found out that most of them weren't doing the reading. Like, they were engaging in class, and because they were engaging in class, I was like, oh, okay, things are going fine. And then lo and behold, I tell them to pull up the reading in class, and they don't know where to find it because they haven't been doing it.
Hi, it's voiceover Azaria here. I just wanted to cut in on top of myself to express myself a little bit better. I essentially just think that I'm kind of disillusioned as a teacher at this point. I put a lot of time and effort into planning classes and stuff, and since I teach freshmen mostly, 9 times out of 10 I'm not going to have English majors in my class. I'm not going to have people that are really passionate about writing in my class, and I get that. Usually they're taking my class because they're required to. All of that is great. Sometimes I'm teaching a certain class because I'm required to. So I definitely understand. But some students, it's just like you can reach out a million times. You can try to support them. You can try to be there for them. And they just are not responsive to that. And that's really hard to see. I only have about 40 students. And because of that, it's easier for me to kind of pay attention to them and see where things are going wrong. And so it's really difficult when you can see that a student is kind of going down the wrong path in their college career, that they're kind of blundering, they're like sort of messing up their first year of college, which, you know, is not irreparable. A lot of people mess up their freshman year. I just try to make it go as easy for them as possible. I try to make it easy to talk to me, easy to get extensions, all those things. And sometimes it just doesn't work. And I think that's the hardest part.
So I just got home. I just got back from teaching my creative writing class. We actually had a visitor in the class today from the undergraduate literary magazine. So I hope that some of my students sign up. A couple of them did seem really interested. So I hope that some of them do. Now I'm back home. I've got about 15 minutes to kind of get ready for these meetings that I'm about to have with my students. I think I have 7 of them today, so not a lot of them. And only about half of my students signed up for the meetings. And if they don't go to a meeting with me, then they have to do one with a writing tutor. I'm gonna get ready for these meetings now. And I'm probably gonna try in the in-between time, like in between the meetings. Some of the meetings I gave myself like 10-15 minutes. So in between some of the meetings, I'm also probably gonna try to get some grading done. I'm walking back from my theory class. Theory with a capital T. That class is so hard, man. Like I sat there for 3 hours, more than 3 hours, because he kept us late, and I can maybe write 3 sentences on what was covered in that class. It's just such a difficult class, and I just wish that to some extent you're expected to be an autodidact when you're a graduate student, so you're expected to teach yourself a considerable amount of material, and I think all of that is fine. Maybe having to be self-taught, I think that's okay. To a certain extent. In that class, you have to teach yourself everything, because there's no guarantee that all of the readings that you did are ever going to be discussed or even alluded to in the class. Also, I'm not a theorist. I don't plan on ever writing theory. Blah, 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 blah. I'm a creative writer, and so I just feel really out of my element. That class is so hard, and so like, I don't know, I just feel dumb, but I'm gonna keep trying. And I was gonna record some writing, but that class, it always like makes me pooped. So I'll probably just see you guys tomorrow instead, for whatever's on the agenda. It's Tuesday now. I'm about to get in the car and go to campus. Today we have the Amy Tan discussion, where we get to meet and speak with Amy Tan. Very excited about that. I have some questions for her. I'm not super well read on her work, but I have heard of her. I've heard of her work. And she has some really strong and consistent themes that I want to ask about. But before that, I have a class called Speculative Fictions. And before that, even, I need to go to the UPS store to drop off an Amazon return. And then I'm going to stop at Walgreens to get a card. My dissertation advisor, his father passed away this morning. So since a lot of us are going to be gathered at the Amy Tan reading, I'm going to get a card and get some signatures and some messages for him. He's such a nice guy. He's like the nicest guy. Yeah, and so I'm sad that he's having a kind of rough start to his semester. This isn't the only thing that's kind of going on with him. So that's what we're about to do. Okay, good. I got back from the Amy Tan talk a couple of hours ago now. It was only about an hour. It was really like informal, but it was really cool. She's really funny. And she's in Nebraska for like a big kind of poetry reading, but she just kind of wanted to stop at our school and talk to us about writing a little bit. So that was cool and fun. It was really great to meet her. And it was really funny. She is like this renowned kind of writer, and she said that she was really surprised that Joy Luck Club, which was her debut novel, got picked up so quickly, because it wasn't meant to be a novel and all these other things, but also because she said that she just wasn't expecting herself to get published until she was like 70 years old. Mind you, Amy Tan is 72 now. And she's got 5 novels at least. And mind you, her most recent book is not a novel, it's a nonfiction book, and it's just about birds. She just kind of got obsessed with the birds in her backyard and wrote a book about it and drew some pictures and put it all together. So yeah, very cool. So now I actually am working on revisions for Project Girls. I do my revisions by hand. I think I mentioned that. One day I'll talk about kind of what goes into this process because it's more than what's here. But I'm going to start working on some revisions for Project Girls. And then I have to get ready for my meeting with a very cool literary magazine tomorrow. I need to kind of prepare for that reading. Essentially, a piece of mine got accepted into that magazine. And I wanted to take some time to look at the piece and see if there was kind of any other revisions I wanted to make. And now that I've kind of or I'm on the cusp, really, of making those decisions and solidifying those decisions, I'm going to talk it over with the editor and kind of see what he thinks and get his input. But for right now, let's do like a little typing time lapse for you. It's Wednesday. I'm back at school in the morning to teach my creative writing class. I'm not really teaching today or Friday. They're doing a workshop, so they're really going to manage themselves mostly. I'm kind of just there for support and help. So I'm hoping that during this class, actually, I can get a little bit of writing done, not a whole lot, because I still need to pay attention to what's going on in my classroom. But just, I want to get a little bit of writing done today. So I need to go in and, kind of set up the board and everything. And then after that, I'll have just a few, I think literally 3 meetings with some of my students today to talk about their papers. And then I'll have quite a bit of downtime before my meeting with the literary magazine today. And that's going to be the whole day. So I'm hoping to actually get a good amount of writing done today. Yesterday, I finished all of the revisions for Chapter 2 of Project Girls. And so today, I'm actually going to start working on the Chapter 3 revisions. And the ones that I do by hand, I'm going to start working on those today. And then my hope is that I'll be able to finish by the weekend, because I usually work every weekend at my second job, but I'm not working there this weekend. So I'm hoping that by the weekend I'll actually be done with chapters 3, 4, and 5. So we'll see how that goes. So I'm just getting going. Yeah. I've got a lot ahead of me in this program for sure.
How's the going? Is it alright?
It's definitely going. It's definitely going. It's honestly, it's a lot less writing involved than I thought. Like in the actual program, um, there's way more reading than writing. And I think I also kind of just forgot that it's not a creative writing PhD. It's an English PhD with a creative writing specialization. So I just finished my meeting with Literary Magazine, and it was a really good meeting. It was wonderful. And I just want to say that I've been sort of in and around the publishing world for at least 8 or 9 years now, and the power imbalance between writers and publishers or editors is absolutely insane, because we just want to make a little bit of money and not have everything about the work that we sort of put into a piece changed. And this was really the first time that I met with an editor who really kind of centered what I wanted in the conversation and what my goals were, and not just sort of what the papers or what the journal is looking for, what the journal wants, kind of thing. And he even gave me some options. I'm kind of slated to be published in the next issue of this journal, the next issue that they're going to begin production on. I think they either just came out with an issue or they're just about to come out with an issue. And so he gave me the deadline for that. But then he also said, but if you find that you're still working on it, you're still tinkering with it, you could also just be in the one after that. Like, essentially, we want this story and we want it to be the way that you want it to be. And that's just really exciting and cool and fun. It was a really great meeting. I got some really good sort of notes for revision. And so I'm not going to work on it right away, but over the next month, about a month, I'm going to put some work in on it and see if I can meet that first deadline. If not, I'll just do the second deadline. And so that's it that's going on today. For the rest of the day, I'm just going to do some reading, some homework, and hopefully do some more revisions for chapter 3 of Project Girls. Yeah, that's really it. I'll see you guys tomorrow.